Dominguez, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this 28-part masterclass series, I will be performing and teaching every etude from Victor Polatschek's Advanced Studies for the Clarinet. As an online resource for advanced high schoolers, college-level students, and anyone else that needs a resource outside of individual practice. In the Advanced Studies, Victor Polatschek wrote these etudes based on orchestral excerpts from larger works and the musical stylings of different composers. On the whole, I think that these studies are really enjoyable to play. They provide an excellent opportunity to explore a wide range of styles and genres while addressing all aspects of clarinet technique. For the purpose of these videos and masterclasses, I will be providing some general performance tips on how you can interpret this music on your own. I hope that you enjoy these videos, and please don't forget to click the subscribe button if you'd like to stay updated with all other upcoming content on my channel. Let's get started. Masterclass portion of Victor Polatschek's Advanced Studies for the Clarinet. Today we'll be working through Etude 3 after Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov's masterpiece, Scheherazade. Now, for anyone who may not be familiar with this piece, Scheherazade is a symphonic suite composed by Rimsky-Korsakov in 1888. It's based on the tale of the Arabian Nights. This incredible work combines two features that Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov based his career on: brilliant orchestration, soaring woodwind solos that continue to be used on excerpt lists in many different auditions around the world. Now, regarding this etude, Polatschek composed this study based on the popular clarinet excerpt from the fourth movement titled "The Festival of Baghdad." The ship breaks upon a cliff surmounted by a bronze horseman. A little dramatic to read, but if you've heard the music, then you'll know that this movement is all that and more. Now, getting into the music, this excerpt is a fantastic study in pinky dexterity, cross fingerings, two aspects of clarinet playing that are really essential to a well-rounded technique. Starting off, we're in the key of C minor with a meter mark at 6/16. This means that we'll be giving one big beat for every 3 16th notes. Now, in the original excerpt, there is several meter markings, but essentially they all mean the same thing. Polatschek just chose to use 6/16, so using this meter will definitely portray the exact same vibe and stylings that the original excerpt had. Now, similar to the original excerpt, I chose to play this at a tempo that is usually asked in the actual symphonic work, where eighth note equals 160 to 176, or vice versa, depending on the meter you're choosing to play. Now, while this tempo may seem a little brisk from the get-go, it will absolutely become easier with slow practice and eventually feeling the pulse in one. In doing so, the phrasing should be a bit more relaxed, and the tendency to rush will definitely be less likely to occur. Now, with all that being said, regardless of what the ideal tempo should be based on, we always want to make sure that we're finding a tempo that works for us as individuals, so that we're ensuring personal growth no matter what. From the opposite end, as a listener, 10 times out of 10, I can tell you I would much rather hear music that is well played and exciting than a performance that is too fast with lots of errors. So, making time to take time in the beginning will always be much more beneficial than rushing through the initial learning process. Preparation builds confidence, and I think the two really do go hand in hand. Now, moving on to the technique of this study, I would say the biggest issue at hand is going to be the tendency to rush. Now, as I mentioned before, starting this at a very slow tempo is going to be your best route to success. As mentioned in previous master classes, taking some time to mark your score with all fingerings that you'll be using is going to be very beneficial, since there are many instances where we'll be going from right to left and immediately left to right. It can be a little confusing to read from the page unless you practice it really slowly and it's just really ingrained in your muscle memory. If not, take some time to mark in your fingerings. That way you know exactly where you're going to go and you have your blueprint for the entire duration of the performance and your practice. Now, one thing I think can be really useful in this is really understanding the ways in which we're using our hand position and our fingers to execute the notes. Now, this may seem simple, but I think a lot of clarinetists kind of overlook this sometimes. We don't spend enough time on the way we're actually producing the music with our technique in our hands. So let's just start with measure 1. Going between these A flat to B flats, this is what I would call a cross fingering. So we're going from one side of the horn to the other. We're using fingers that are weak against a finger that is strong, so that also can pose some problems. So what I'm really thinking about when I talk about hand position is just 3 things. So we just want to lighten the touch. We don't want to use any more pressure than we need to press the keys down. When I'm using my pinky keys, I'm just really using enough pressure, push the key down, and then letting the spring of the key push my finger back up. Easy as that. I'm thinking of eliminating the distance between my fingers and the keys. I'm really trying to find a good middle ground that allows me to operate the horn while allowing myself to access every part of it. So I don't want to see flying fingers when I'm playing. I don't want my pinkies to come up too high. That also means maintaining a good position. So those 2 things can only happen if we find a position for our hand that works. So typically we tell students to use a C curvature in the hand. For someone like me whose hands are a little bit bigger, I'm actually having to use a curvature, but I'm also kind of draping my fingers over the horn. So I'm maintaining this curvature, but my hands are actually coming up a little bit. That way I can kind of compensate for how big my hands are and still get all the motion and access all the keys. So lighten the touch, eliminate the distance, and maintain the position. I think these 3 things combined really provide you with the accessibility and the fluency to play this entire etude from beginning to end without feeling like the clarinet is getting in the way or the fingers are getting in the way. Now, in this etude, we actually have almost a complete excerpt of the original solo from Scheherazade Movement 4. Now, this is going to start at the bottom of page 1, last measure, and it goes through the first 3 systems of the 2nd page. So for the actual excerpt, we basically have verbatim what Rimsky-Korsakov wrote for the clarinet. I might add that I'm also playing this etude on A clarinet just because that's what the original excerpt was written for. If you don't have an A clarinet, it's totally fine. Play on B flat. I just find that having played for so long, the half step difference is a little weird to my ear, but I just want to add that just before I go any further. Now, going back to the original excerpt, the one thing that's not in this are the crescendo and decrescendo markings about 2/3 the way through. I think it's good to have these because it kind of gives us some structure within the phrasing. You can add these to other parts of the etude as well, but I think leaving these out, it kind of makes the solo have a little bit less contour, which I don't prefer. So always look at the original score when you're learning an orchestral excerpt. In this case, since the etude is based on an excerpt, I would also look at the original score just to kind of give you some grounding for how you would want to play this, since so much of it is repeated, and we kind of want to add some variety from beginning to end. And with that, we've reached the end of Etude 3 in Victor Polatschek's Advanced Studies for the Clarinet. Having reached the end of this masterclass, I hope that you've gained a little bit of knowledge and it helps you prepare this for a fierce performance in the future. In case you have any additional questions on this etude, please feel free to comment below or send me an email. I'll get back to you very soon. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching and clicking. I'll see you next time for etude number 4. Happy practicing, and don't forget to subscribe on the way out. See ya.